funny, Brian. I can't even believe where I am right now. I met Pete Egoscue here in Cancun. He was at the very first Life Mastery. So that was where I met him. I remember we were at Ishkaret or whatever, and he's the one that came up to me back then. And he had said, if you continue to walk like that, Lauren, you'll never be able to carry a baby full term. So that was literally here in Cancun, 5 miles away from where I am right now.
Yep.
And he said to me, you need to come into the clinic and you need to work with Brian. You were like 2.5 back then, I think, or we're the same age. And you put me on a program and really worked with me. I had a natural turnout and I was having I'd already had 2 miscarriages. A lot of people don't know that. I'd already had 2 miscarriages and my hip flexors were just so weak. And I came in, I don't even know how often I came in. We had VHS tapes. You took Polaroid pictures of me, and I have done the do for the past 30 plus years. And thank God I've given birth to 3 amazing babies, been able to have my body know what it needs to do to take care of itself. And it's, it wasn't just, Brian always says he got me pregnant in a unique way. We always joke about that with regards to it. But I love what Brian, represents with the Egoscue and how important structural support is with regards to not just our structure, but also digestion and everything else. So thank you for being a part of our Drop the Dress Size, because I know you love to talk about being fat. So I'm going to let you explain what that actually means. So I'm going to pass on over. I think Brian's been with the Egoscue Clinic 30 plus years, at least. It's got to be.
Yeah.
And once again, like I told you, I've had my own experience with him. I bring him to every event that I can bring him to, and he has been an amazing support, but just really walks his talk in everything that he does. So if you could please make sure to share this, not just with people that are in the Drop the Dress Size group, but also with everybody that you know, because you're going to be taking notes like crazy. It's going to get you working. So I'm going to pass on over to you.
Thank you. Lauren, it's always good to hear that story, because that's why I never do 23andMe, because I know there's probably kids out there somewhere that are mine, but it's, and I know Lauren's kids aren't mine, but I do take credit for them, because it's such an amazing story to hear these people. People spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars going, we can't get pregnant, we can't do this. But nobody ever really looks at the homeostasis of the internal environment of the body. I mean, think about that. When your pelvis is in the right or wrong position, everything is affected, including your ability to occupy your mind with a more positive, receiving, growth mindset. So for example, great book, very simple. You're either open or you're closed. It's either a closed mindset or a growth mindset. If I said on here, how many people on here are in a growth mindset? Everybody's going to go, I am. And then when they hang up here, they're going to go, what the F am I having for dinner? And I don't like my family. Okay, well, there's your closed mindset. And then if chronic pain's there, that's even bigger. Or I'm working out 8 days a week and I'm still not getting the results that I'm looking for. So I'm going to show you some before and afters. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the pain-free book, where you can get it, all that stuff. And then we'll also make sure you have my Instagram and Facebook stuff, so that I do answer my own DMs. If you guys have questions that you don't get answered on here, I'm open to taking a look at you and, discussing at least some of the more detailed stuff, going, look, can you help me? So let's start out by saying that my family has been in love with the Juice Plus product since my son was, he's 20, he'll be 21 in September. So the month before he was born, I started looking into this kind of stuff, because I'm going, what am I going to do to give him an unfair advantage? Now think about that. Unfair advantage. How do I give my kid an unfair advantage compared to the other millions of kids that he's going to be going against intellectually, talent-wise, sport-wise, athletically, becoming a man, just really getting his head clear and doing well in school? Well, I'm going to show you a quick picture and then a video, and I'll show you, in my opinion, what the mixture between the Juice Plus stuff and the unfair advantage of having a dad who said, we're going to go to the park 3 to 5 days a week for 2 or 3 hours at a time. Now, who on here has time to take their kids to the park for 3 hours every day? Nobody. But I made time because that's the line of work I'm in. I'm going to use this little petri dish that I gave birth to. I like to pretend that I gave birth to him, but I didn't. You start thinking about, they're your little petri dish. And if you look at this picture, look at his back and his musculature at 14 compared to most other kids in that pool. And that's an elite level soccer team at the age of 14. That's zero weightlifting. None. But the advantage was going to the park. What do you do on the park? You swing on a swing. You go around the merry-go-round that spun us around and we all threw up on back in the day. You climb up a sliding board backward. You fall. You get back up. You climb on the apparatus. You slide down a pole. You go up the cargo net. So all it was basically something like indoor rock climbing every single day that we used to go there for hours upon hours upon hours, to the point where he'd come up and say, is it time to leave? I'd say, do you want to go? He goes like, no, I just figured you'd want to. No, if you stay longer, we'll get something after this. So what I was trying to do is introduce him to every race known to man in Southern California, and it worked. Number 2, get him as functional as possible. And number 3, give him that unfair advantage going into all of his athletics. So how this paid off, that and 4 chewable Juice Plus in the morning and 4 chewable Juice Plus at night, because he just gave up on vegetables later, from the age of 2 or 3 on. He was like, nope, I'm done. I'm like, okay, I'll fix your ass. So we gave him the vitamins. But here he is running a 200-meter run. That's him in the back in the white t-shirt. That's his first 200-meter run, and he doesn't even run track. All I said was pump your arms as fast as you can go, and he wins by 45 meters. Bigger, faster, stronger. Now plays D1 soccer, has had some injuries, and then says, well, nutritionally it's got to be this, movement it's got to be this, and your little kid grows up to be something like that, where he can grow a better beard than I can. Here he is trying to read the field on a college soccer field, and there he is kicking off of the legs. That's the opposite of his power leg. So the goal is to give your kids, give yourself an unfair advantage. That's the goal of today. Well, hey, Brian, how are we going to do that? I'm so glad you asked. Thank you for participating. We're going to get you up here in a little bit. We're going to get you to feel it. We're going to be comparing your body to what this blueprint over my left shoulder says. This is the accepted human body alignment. Ankles, knees, hips, and shoulders vertical and across from each other. When I have you close your eyes, I'm going to ask you, where's your balance, left or right, front to back? I'm going to ask you to bend over, touch your toes. I'm going to ask you to do a deep squat and just sit there and remember days when it didn't hurt. All of these are equivalent to what this whole talks about, which is drop a dress size. Okay, why do you have some dude on here talking about drop a dress size? Well, I was raised with 3 sisters. I sit down to pee and I have more hair products than probably all of you. So I'm basically a chick. So I know what we're looking for because I've heard enough of you through 54 years of my life. Listening to even my sisters growing up, what's important to you is not let's put in more work, let's eat less, and let's watch my butt grow. I'm not interested. If you're working out, you should get the results you're looking for with minimal effort. So by a show of hands, how many people in here work out? How many people work out in here because they want increased energy? Okay, that's number 3. How many people work out in here because they want to be healthy? All right, that's number 2. How many people out here want to look better in front of the mirror that they're standing in front of when they get out of the shower? That's number 1. Don't kid yourself. And you girls have an advantage because you at least talk about it. You'll admit it. Guys go like this, I look great. If you had a belly like this in a third world country, I'd own the whole country. Like they justify being unhealthy. Whereas you ladies are expecting more, and now let's just give you that unfair advantage. Let's wake it up. By the way, this is how we're going to do it. we're going to be focused on that long muscle that starts on the inside of your leg, comes up and into the pelvis and into the spine, called your psoas and iliacus. Those are the muscles that we're going to basically turn on to allow you to walk and move and jump and climb and crawl. So if we take 5,000 steps per day per leg, that's our goal. Pre-COVID, people were getting it. During COVID, it dropped to like 500. Let's say we're back up to 5,000 per leg. Every time your heel hits the ground, your glute, if you put your hand on your butt and go for a walk, you're going to feel, wow, my glute fires when my heel hits the ground. It's not necessarily the muscle that pulls behind you. So in the gym, I watch people going butt blasters. They're kicking their butt back like this. They're lifting that leg up, trying to fire their glute behind them like a mule, kicking something behind it, or like a backward kick off of a horse. That's great. That's what the butt does. But in reality, when you walk, your heel strike is absolutely imperative. Then you get your toe off. And that normal heel ball toe walk, heel ball toe is going to fire up something that I think is absolutely critical for, since it's just us girls, we can talk about this. I want to talk about two things that are tied directly to that. So grab your pen and paper. And I want you to write down the word fat, F-A-T, and circle it. Okay. By a show of hands, what did it feel like to write that word down? Did it feel like, I'll give you the words. Did it feel happy? Did it feel depressed? Did it feel judgmental? Did it feel like I don't like what I'm seeing or feeling or discovering? I know what it feels like to write that word down because it comes with a level of judgment tied to it. Now write the word P-H-A-T underneath it. Lee, feel like I need to remove something. Lee, I know the feeling, girl. I know the feeling. So think about this. What that P-H-A-T word we just wrote down, did that put a smile on your face? And then you have to ask why. So what I want you to do is in front of that word, I want you to write L-Y-M. So P-H-A-T is in the middle, L-Y-M is on the left, and then I-C is on the back end of that. And that spells lymphatic. In my opinion, and I'm a dude, helping you drop a dress size, so I've got to know what I'm talking about. I want you to think that maybe it's not your fault. This is like Good Will Hunting with Robin Williams. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. You can cry on my shoulder. I get it. Because what we're really looking for is the unfair advantage again. We're looking for the secret, the dirty little secret to why are some people getting such good results and I'm not. Maybe your lymphatic system is blocked up. Maybe your heel strike is off. Maybe your posture is not serving you. So I'm going to show you a picture of a young lady I think is remarkable. Her results in 30 days came in with chronic pain, postural issues, but look at the before and after pictures. And I'm sorry about the reflection, but it's still daylight here. The gray is before, the black is after. Look at the difference. Look at the shoulder position difference. But look how much leaner she looks. And then, same thing here. Sorry, is that out of balance? See there. So, and for those of us that are guys on here, I didn't forget about you or your husbands. Same thing. Look at the midsection belly area from the gray shorts to the black shorts. And the only thing that changed was changing his posture. About 30 days on both of those. So I'll blow your mind with this one. I don't even market this one because I can't really, it's hard to believe. This one was 12 minutes. 12 minutes. And thank God he had a tattoo. That's the same guy in 12 minutes. of exercises. If you want to, I know we're talking about drop in dress size, but let's say you're talking about your kids. And let's say you have a little girl who's been diagnosed with scoliosis and says, I'm going to be the only little girl in middle school wearing a brace. And you know what that does psychologically. Whereas you have this little girl who said, I'll wear the brace, but I'm going to do my work before and after in 2 weeks. So the reason I say yes to these talks is not because I have nothing else going on in my life. I have a lot of stuff going on. What I don't have time for is I don't have time for the BS that you girls are being told because I didn't put up with it with my sisters. So I'm sure as hell not going to let you be put through the ringer like that. I don't even know most of you yet. But the idea behind this whole thing is give yourself the unfair advantage by moving correctly. And then nutritionally, you do whatever these people will tell you to do. But from a Juice Plus standpoint, I can tell you, just me personally, the chewables for my kid, I'm telling you, that is what saved him nutritionally. And I'm I have a sweatshirt that you saw the other day when Lee posted it that said, I eat meat, but I identify as a vegan. I love grass-fed, grass-finished. I think it's unbelievably healthy. The CLAs, the omega-3s, blah, blah, blah. We just don't buy a $25 a pound ribeye and eat the whole thing. We cut it into fours, and now I have 4 meals out of it. It's better fiscally, but it's better in small amounts, so my body's using 100% of it versus eating 100% of it and pooping 80% of it. You know, we got to get our bodies to serve us. So one of the ways we're going to do this, I'm going to unhook here pretty soon, and I'm going to walk you out to one of my favorite things, which is cold water immersion. We were talking about this the other day. Ladies, if you're not doing cold water immersion, you haven't lived. It's a flat out game changer. And yes, it's colder than a witch's you know what. But I'm telling you, from a mitochondria, brown fat, adipose tissue reaction, meaning your body lays down more mitochondria in your adipose tissue because it's expecting to be cold again, that in turn tells you that somebody's stoking the fire every day by getting in the cold water, your metabolic rate's raising, you start losing weight and becoming the body that you want, and all you're doing is sitting in cold water. Then you're eating well, then you're moving well, and that's why I'm telling you that all these little biohacks that we're trying to do, when you do, not if you do, when you do your Egoscue exercises first, then everything else gets easier. Lee, what's that question? I'm sorry.
That question is with the cold water immersion. You might talk about this soon anyway, but is there a good time of day to be doing this, and how long for?
Look, I do 2 of them a day. I do 1 in the early morning, and that's neck down, and then 2 drops of my head in 40-degree water, eventually going to 39, eventually going to 38. My goal is to get 32 where I have an ice layer on this bath. I'll show you. Because in summertime, California, it gets cold with cold water, but not cold enough in the morning for showers like that. So that's why I put the cold plunge in. Like I put the biocharger in for like PEMF light, you know, for my cells. I'll sit in front of this. You guys will take a look at my Instagram. This morning I did a quick talk on that, dressed up like the Sith Lord because, well, my hair just wasn't done. I didn't want to be the only one out there with messy hair in the morning. And that discussion's about how my cells react. The water, the cold water, if you're in a place where, I just came back from Park City, Utah, where I was doing that pickleball thing for our corporate event. That water was freezing. That took your breath away. That was probably 50-degree water. That'll take your breath away. But when it's 60, 70, 80-degree water in the shower, it's doing you no good for that reason. So you have to just figure out and I got sick of buying bags of ice and putting it in a bathtub. And in Southern California, I don't like wasting all the water, so I don't have to change the water in this thing for a year because it has its own filter and ionizer and all that stuff. But here's what I tell people. How much is this? Oh, that's $300 a month for the next 5 years. Okay, great. But guys, I'm either going to die and leave this all to my children, or I'm going to spend it on me, and then I'll leave them the apparatus. They can sell it later. Like, I want to be able to spend this and do some stuff for myself now, live and walk the talk that I do on a daily basis. Not just say, it's good for me, but it's not going to be good for you, or it's good for you and it's not good for me. That's just wrong. So let me take you through, before we go out there and just take a look at that kind of stuff, let me run you through some exercises as a group. So everybody, if you don't mind, I don't know what time it is around the world, but I want you to stand up and take your shoes off and stand behind the chair that you're sitting in. And of course, if you're driving, do not do these exercises. I will not be responsible for you driving into a bridge embankment. That was a Chris Farley Tommy Boy reference. Thank you. I want you to find a comfortable stance barefoot. And I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to think about where your body weight is from left to right. With your eyes closed, where's the body weight left to right? Where is it front to back? Do you have more weight in the heel of one foot versus the ball of one foot? Is it on the inside of the foot versus the outside of the foot? Is it different from one side to the other is really what I'm looking for. And now open up your eyes. I want you to very slowly, you don't have to touch your toes. I just want you to hang forward, see how far you can go and see what it feels like. Like, tell yourself, what's it feel like? And then watch how far you can go. Just bend over to your toes. If you can get there, and do not hurt yourself. If this hurts, don't do it. Okay, come back up. So Lee, where did you get to?
I got to about this angle.
That's as far as you can go?
Yep.
Now I know why tigers eat their young. Okay, let's see here. So I'm going to show you guys something. This is a man who owns a CrossFit gym successfully now. He was in a very bad place. Here's the before and after, but take a look at the red and notice how he's really pushing hard from the mid back to get down there. That big rounding over part of his upper back. The tattoos are bitching, by the way. I love them. But look at the green. That's one exercise difference, and he's at his toes literally a minute and a half later. So when you can psychologically break the idea of going, well, I'm stuck, this is just how I'm built, that's wrong. Once you apply the stimulus that I'm going to run you through, I expect you to be at your toes when we're done, Lee.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, and it will not have anything to do with let's stretch out the back of your legs, because I think flexibility training is a complete waste of time if you don't go after why the muscle's tight in the first place. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, now I want you guys to basically just spread out a little bit. I'm going to show you this. Now I wore these socks for you guys. They're basically when pigs fly, because I've heard that so many times in my life from the females in my life. I figured I'd be right at home talking to you about that. But I want you to squat down and kind of just do this. Like, just find a comfortable stance. Can you do this? Can you keep your heels down? Like if I said, let's cook something in a hibachi on the ground. Can you do that? What's it feel like? Come on up. Were you able to do it without losing your balance? Were you able to keep your heels down? Remember, that's just a judgment now. That's kind of for you to feel and see where we were going. And now let's stand up and we're going to go through a couple exercises. Not at all. Okay, good. Thank you, Lee. Well, somebody's got to be the victim. Thank you. So I want you to take your feet and I want you to get them dead straight ahead, like point them dead straight ahead, fist width apart between your big toes, no wider than, say, 4 fingers to your feet, and get them 5 degrees turned in. So they would be, if this is straight, this is out, this is 5 degrees turned in. That's where I want it. Keep them there while we go through 3 exercises. So the first exercise is going to be the arm circles. So you're going to take your hands, put them in, like bring your fingertips into the fat pad of your hand here like this. So not here, open it up so your palms are visible. Bring it out to your sides like this. Drop your shoulders from your ears. Keep your hands stiff. Bring your shoulders down and back and circle forward 40 times, just like that. Forward, yep, up and forward. Keep going. Get to 40 of these. Great. Perfect. Now, same position with your hands out like this again. Turn your palms up and circle up and back like that. Okay, now hands in that same position. Feet are straight if you moved. Remember, because when your feet are straight, then we trap and turn on the circuit breaker. Take your hands to your knuckle, to your temple right here behind your ear, your eye. And now close, let your knuckles roll so your fingernails are on the side and touch them together. And then open them up 15 times, just like that. So you're here, 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 here. Keep going, 15 of those. All the while your feet are straight. And we're changing your upper back right now, which is where we hold a lot of our stress, which is when people drive us crazy. That's where our shoulders go up like this. We're trying to level these out. So remember, your hands are right behind your temple like that, behind your eye. Okay, now interlace your fingers together. Palms away. Take it straight up over your head. But if your shoulder hurts, you can't go, let's say you go, oh, this is as far as it'll go. Stop there. You don't have to go all the way up if your shoulder doesn't take it there. So go here, here, look up at your hands, drop your shoulders from your ears. Hold that for about 30 seconds. And I want you to think about, what are we doing for your hamstrings right now? What are we doing for the backs of your legs that was so tight that you couldn't get to your toes? Well, Brian, you're doing nothing as it relates to directly affecting the hamstring. But indirectly affecting the hamstring is a game changer. Because when you move the pelvis and the upper back to have a better relationship, then things really start to change. Keep it held. I'm trying to find a picture for you to pull up on my Instagram. Okay, shoulders down, shake it out, walk your feet out to wherever you want them. Close your eyes. Where's your body weight from left to right, front to back? Think about what's changed. Do you feel the change? Do you feel more grounded and balanced to the ground? Good. So Lee, if you feel more balanced, then we can make an assumption. Your body's changed. So now let's test it. Go ahead and bend over and let's see what that range of motion feels like and looks like. What happened?
I got a little bit further.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you can apply 3 minutes of exercise and get a little bit on day one, imagine what's going to happen in a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year. That's why we do this. If I took one dose of the vitamins, the chewables in the morning, and I didn't do it for 30 more days, and I'm going, why aren't they working? That's moronic. Like even you would go, ksh, ksh, stop it. Okay, go into the deep squat. See what that feels like. Remember how we squatted down? What does that feel like? Oh my gosh, Lee.
Feels like I'm going to fall over.
Lee, we have some work to do. Okay, come back up. So, I'm watching some of you move, and a lot of you have smiles on your faces because you're seeing and feeling the difference. Remember, it's minimal dose of Egoscue goes a long way. Our goal is to get you out of, our goal is to get you out of where the red is and into where the blue lines are, where everything's straight. Our goal is to get you here. Well, we live in an environment where we're chronically looking down at our phones like this. How's that ever going to happen? That's fine. I do that on my phone all day, answering people's DMs. I love it. But I train for the sport of holding my iPhone. Like, I look at it as a sport, and the things that I do serve me so that I don't get my butt kicked by looking down the whole time at my phone. So remember, today's talk was in regards to make a deliberate decision, deliberate, to help yourself. And that becomes your story for your business success down the road. So some of my best Egoscue therapists are the ones that said, I'm hurting so bad, and then 6 months later they become a therapist of mine because they have a story. You know, I was downhill mountain biking for years and finally hit a tree at 62 miles an hour, and trees don't move. So I learned very quickly what a torn labrum in my hip, separated shoulder, dislocated the other one, transverse process fracture in my lower back, blood clot, evolved my ACL ligament from my tibia twice. And, you know, so I start looking at that kind of stuff going, that's fine. That's a sport where you're eventually going to get hurt. It's not a matter of if, it's when, which is why I moved over to sports that aren't going to kill me. But I will never quit moving. So I have the Carol bike here. You know, when you're going to come out of COVID sitting for a living and then get on a bike that's going to hunch you over like this, there's a reason why I bought the Carol bike and not the Peloton. I like Peloton. I'm just not going to sit on a bike for 45 minutes and hope that my ass gets smaller. Not going to happen. This is high intensity interval training. It's 40 seconds of sprinting, equivalent to 47 minutes of a run. Think about that. Metabolically, 40 seconds total of sprinting to the point where your heart's good. You feel like you're just going to die. Your legs are unbelievable. Then you take a 3-minute break, then you do it again. Why do I do that? Because I can never get my time back. But I want the results of that 47-minute run without going monotonous 47 minutes doing something. I could do this for 47 minutes and get more out of it. Does that make sense? Okay, Lee, do you have a way to look into the chat? Am I looking at any questions from people or?
No, has anyone got any questions that they want to ask? I have a question. That's okay. Like a lot of people obviously have stories around why they can't do things and why they're not exercising and stuff like that. I've got loads of them with torn tendons in my neck and my elbows and in my back. And I don't stay consistent. That's the biggest thing. Obviously, with a lot of these exercises, it is consistency over time. Is there any of the Egoscue exercises that do impact with injuries and things that you're not supposed to do, or?
Did you brush your teeth today?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's part of having a great smile.
Because you don't want to be the girl known with dragon breath and your teeth are like, right? But you're doing it and not even realizing what you're doing for your heart by having healthier gums. Like literally you could ward off a version of heart disease by having better oral health. So you didn't know that. I mean, maybe you did, but that's not your main focus for brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
You know, so you made a decision to brush your teeth on a daily basis, probably twice a day, floss once or twice a day. I get it. Make the decision now to brush and floss the joints you want to keep. Now would be the time to do it. You've heard the question, when would now be a good time? Oh, now. Okay, good. Yeah. Because we're talking about a minimal dose. We're not talking about you need to do 3 hours of stuff a day for Egoscue and give your life to us. No, this isn't a cult. This is you doing the exercises to serve you. Become a little selfish and use me to do it. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
If there are certain things you can't do, let's say somebody went out like this and they're like, my shoulder's killing me. I have 900 exercises to do things that could make a massive difference. Okay?
So just do something different if it's really hurting.
Well, yeah, I'm also going to give you guys, you know, I expect to hear from you if you have questions. I'm going to show you something from my Instagram real quick. just so you have my Instagram, here it is. If you guys want to screenshot that. That's a facial product that I use. It's called Alatura. It's a biohacking, very natural thing. And I want to show you what it did to me at the end. It's unbelievable. Are you guys excited to see that?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. You ready? Remember, this is very serious. Okay, so there's my mole. I call that the Clint Eastwood. So, if I do anything with pictures, they have to credit Clint Eastwood for that. And there it is again when it's all dried up. But when I wash this thing off, look how much more glow I have. I look so much better at the end. Like, it's unbelievable, the difference. I mean, honestly.
Honestly, that's amazing.
I did get a call from Deadpool and said, don't do it again. So that's okay. That's okay.
Would you also, because one thing obviously we all love when we see you at all of your events is Running Man. Are you able to explain the process of that and the benefits of what it can do? Because abs is one of my things. Who else wants abs? I do.
Yeah. Abs are 80% what you do with your mouth. Okay?
Yeah.
The other 100% is getting your lymph system to move. So getting that done is, remember, normal heel strike, all that. But when I ask a person to do this motion, just by putting your feet in separate places, like one foot back like this, up on the heel, I'm getting ready to run. Here we go. Okay, get ready. And then we do this, 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 this. So what that really does, if you have somebody in the house, try this tonight. Have them put their hands around your, like, here's the kidney line of your back, and then wrap the other fingers around to your, like, lateral abdominal muscles. And you'll feel like, don't contract them. Don't be embarrassed. Or you do it to somebody where you're going, oh, okay, yeah, it's relaxed. Like if I touch this muscle, there should be some pliability in the muscle unless I tighten the muscle, right? So don't tighten the muscle, just feel it. There's some movement in the muscle. Okay, good. But the minute you start doing boom, 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 there's so much perturbance at the top. It's like a tree in a hurricane. The roots have to either grip harder or they're ripped out of the ground. So the abdominal muscles and the deep hip flexor become your roots for the crazy moving that you have upstairs. So we can do it again, that's fine. But I want to make sure you understand, I'm not doing it just to get the energy up in the room. That's the secondary benefit. The real benefit is you can do high intensity work without killing yourself. You can get your heart rate to go, oh my God, that's like 170. Oh my God. So my sister, one of them is, she won't care that I tell you this because you'll never meet her, but 5'7". She probably hit 270 at one point. She has her own reasons, right? This and this aren't congruent at those times. But she wants to be so bad. And when she gets that point, she starts to lose and blah, blah, blah. And then I run her through some stuff physically. She'll do something like that, and I'm not kidding. It's like she's having a heart attack. She'll be like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Like, cut it down to 15 seconds. Don't think if I don't do 30 seconds, then I'm a failure. Remember, it's just us girls. A lot of us have been brought up to believe if we can't do something, we suck. Okay? Nothing pisses me off more than that, and I'm the dude in the room. I don't want to punch the guy who said it to you. I kind of want to slap you up a little bit, going, it's time to wake up. Don't allow somebody else to create a control situation over you. And all of this ties into, how are you in business? How are you in the business of life? How do you look in the mirror? How do you view yourself? All of this stuff is tied together. So when people come and they say to us, I want to be pain-free, I would bet 50% of my job is to get them to go from, Brian, I hope you can get me well. And I'm like, well, hope is not a strategy. There's a big hole in it. to let's get you to, do you believe you can, and do you believe your body's serving you, and do you believe that your misalignment isn't necessarily a negative? Your body's out of alignment because it's just not being the most efficient it could be, but it's trying like hell. That's why it's dropping a shoulder, cocking the head off like this, and the body thinks it's leveling out right there. So there's nothing wrong with bad posture. Don't judge it. It's just a snapshot. But once we get you back to this, then you should be able to bend over and go further. Then eventually you should be able to squat down and do what we did. Mm-hmm. Pain is a signal, and it's just an opportunity. That is a mindset of growth versus a mindset of closed. And I encourage you to wake up the open growth mindset. You can't just wake up and go, I'm going to have a growth mindset. That's what they tell you. I honestly think you can. I think you can wake up tomorrow morning and go like this. All right, I'm going to say a bad word. You could wake up in the morning and go, fuck it. Fuck it. No judgment. You can spell it with a PH if you don't want to say the bad word. That's what I say. PH, it's not a swear word. Fuck it. It's like I'm saying Phuket. Okay? Same thing. But it means something when you go, fuck it, and you smile. Let's go. Life's happening for me, not to me. You know, looking at the Tony Robbins mentality and all that kind of stuff. We're doing an event tomorrow for the Life Force book. It's going to have 30, 40, 50,000 people on it. Me and a bunch of MDs and PhDs. Don't know how I got on, but somehow they wanted this pretty face up there. Eesh. But I'm telling you, it's going to be the same message that I'm doing today. Are you enough? And the exercises are just the physical catalyst to stabilize the rest of the mental and emotional stuff so that when you do get a breast cancer diagnosis of cancer, you don't lose your mind. You can have the emotional time and get, this is sad, this sucks, this is it. Or you'll read in this book about Emily, who's one of my very good friend's daughter, who I tell people, they gave her HIV and it cured her leukemia. And they're like, well, that's amazing. Wait, but she has HIV. And like they gave her an inert version of HIV, taught her blood how to fight it. And it's the CAR T cell treatments out of the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. But the whole family never lost the mindset. It just comes down to man's search for meaning. Viktor Frankl, I'm in Auschwitz, I'm going to die. Or I'm in Auschwitz and I want to see my family again, so I'm going to live. So Egoscue is all about the mental switch. And it can happen just like that. My back hurts for a reason. What is it? As long as you have a way out of it. If I never see you, you can just do the exercises in the book. I don't care. But if you're interested, then you guys get a hold of me. We'll talk about what the programs are all about. I'm not going to sell it to you. The worst case scenario is for me to have somebody who says, well, Brian, you talked me into it. No, this is about you talking yourself into it. I bought this because I believe in it and I'm willing to spend the money. I have the cold plunge because, yeah, it takes up a lot of room in my garage, but it's a game changer. I make decisions based on being the most selfish human on the planet. I make decisions based on that. So, did I just unplug you?
Oh, your video's gone. You're taking us out for your cold plunge.
Nope, stay there. I got you. Let's see, what did I do here? I unplugged the power, and maybe that undid my video.
Oh, we're on fuzz. So you were saying too, hopefully you can still hear me. You were saying also that you can do all of the pain-free exercises even if you're not doing anything else at the gym. You're just incorporating the exercises into your day.
Yeah, I do them. Okay, so if I go to the gym, This was, and I'm only going to show you this because Master Co challenged me to the 100-pound lift, and me stupidly I answered. This is me in the gym doing, well, you don't really know if it's me because I hid my face, but those are 100-pound one-arm rows. Well, yesterday I tried 120s. That's the most weight they have in the gym. My right arm, I could get it off the ground because I do so much more. You know, my left arm, I could pick it up, and I held it. And the guy's like, oh, you're not as strong in the other. I said, doesn't bother me. I needed to be able to move this off the ground and let the rest of my body stabilize. But I did my exercises first. You know, I mean, you do your Egoscue stuff first before you would ever do something like this.
Yeah, right.
Egoscue menu first.
Mine last.
Now, why do I do these? I'm 54, life's over. All right, I'm just kidding. I'm only a third of the way through my life. But if you look at that, I'm doing this because one is for power and the other one's for range of motion. What am I training for? Life. Playing with my French bulldog. Don't want to get hurt. Going golfing. Whenever my friends go, do you want to golf? And I go out and I have success doing it. So you keep talking. I'm going to walk you out because I promised you I'd show you what I showed you. But this is the pain-free book. I already showed you guys that. Let's see if I have everything hooked here and I'm not going to trip on a wire.
So at the moment, while you're walking out there, so Brian's Instagram, if you guys want to follow him, is at the Brian Bradley. You'll be able to find him on there. Brian, where is the best place that people can get the pain-free book?
They can go to painfree.com and order it there, but they can also get it at Amazon.
Cool.
Okay, let's see. Oh, this thing's running just because I had this thing on. Okay.
And so the other option for people that don't have a plunge pool is to put ice in a bath.
Yeah, or take cold showers, but I will tell you, there's probably 20 different versions of this kind of stuff out there. I chose this one because I have a lot of NFL players that come over to my house, and I needed something that fits like 6'5", 6'6" in there. And right now we're at, 43.5 degrees because I just got out of it not too long ago. Yep. But it's set at 41 degrees. So ideally, I get in this thing, and then for my son, for example, I'll put him in this, and then he'll say, I'm going to get in the jacuzzi right after. Now, I don't like that as much. What I like to do is get in the cold plunge and then let your body organically heat itself back up. I mean, that's the key with the entire thing here. When you let your body heat itself back up, you're increasing your metabolic rate, and I think you're getting a much bigger benefit long-term down the road. And
you do your cold pool after exercise, or first thing in the morning, or last thing at night? When do you do it? Both. I did it just before this, maybe like a half an hour or an hour before this. But I did it this morning already for almost 4 minutes with 2 head dunks underwater, like 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes. Now, I know a lot of people will be like, there's not a chance in hell I'm doing a cold plunge. I get it. But if you ever have a chance to go places and try it, it's a game changer. Game changer. Remember what I said? I put things in me and around me so I have a pretty easy, I don't have to go to a lot of places and do that. I want things here. COVID taught me that I can get everything done in the house if I have to. This has been nothing short of amazing. The biocharger. The Morozco has been nothing short of amazing. They have another version of that people would put in their house. I'm sure there's other versions out there, but this is US made and it's US maintenanced, so I can get it all done with people that are around me. So that's why I chose it. But I would start with, I can tell you out of all of it, this is $18. Yeah.
You know, versus spending thousands and thousands, you know, getting a cold plunge and doing all that crazy stuff. But again, I justify it by saying, I either spend it now or I'm going to leave it to my, okay, you know what? I'll figure out another way to leave them something. You know,
yeah, this is why I bought
take care of
today. It's $35 over here in Australia for the book if you get it on Amazon. I bought it yesterday, and that's exactly why I did it, because I wanted to make that decision, because I've been doing a lot of these exercises through Tony Robbins and through Crew Team for the past 5 years, but I haven't been consistent with it. So now it's like, yeah, no, I need to make that decision to do something different. And so, yeah, just anyone who's watching, just make the decision mindset. Yeah, just decide. 100%.
Yeah, you just got to go, you know what, how many times does a woman put everybody else in front of her?
Every day. Stop it.
Because I will tell you, the men or the other people around you, here's what they're saying. Please take care of yourself. Do what you want. And then everybody's happier anyway.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay.
Has anyone got any questions? I know Gina just asked one question before, and she said, is the 3 minute a day, the 40 circles in each direction and 15 elbow touches? Is that what you were talking about?
Then, yeah, you could do like 40 of these, 15 or 20 of these, then a minute of this or something like that. That could take you about 3 minutes. I do a lot. If you guys want to check out another one, it's Bulletproof Podcast number 429. Bulletproof Podcast number 429, called Mastering Posture Pain Performance with Dave Asprey. Like why I drink bulletproof coffee, eat grass-fed beef, all that kind of stuff. Why my eggs come from a chicken who's not a vegetarian. These vegetarian-fed chickens drive me nuts. You know, you should be able to eat an egg from a chicken that actually walks around and forages for food. They're more expensive, but again, spend it on yourself. You deserve it. And then know psychologically, I'm doing something for myself, because that placebo effect creates a different hormonal response. If we all had a piece of pizza in front of us right now, a New York one, this big, here, it's this big. And it has pepperonis, onions, and mushrooms on it. You're like, oh my God, okay, take the onions off if you don't like it. But I love onions. So I'm looking at it going, I am gonna eat the shit out of this pizza, right? And I'm gonna enjoy every minute of it. But you know what some people in my life would say? Oh, I'm gonna eat this pizza, but I'm gonna get fat. It's not good for me. The cheese is gonna be heart disease. You get what you expect, you get what you focus on. I choose to focus that pizza gave up its life. Okay, the pizza didn't really give up its life, but let's pretend it did. For me to gain sustenance from that. So everything is about the book. Change your mind. Because that's honestly why we have people experience the exercises and then just slow it down. Give yourself a little bit of time. See what happens. Feel what happens. Experience what happens.
Yeah, 100%. Did anyone else have any questions? Cheryl, did you have anything? Paula?
I do. Oh, wait, Justine does. Go ahead, Justine.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, where do you get that other mindset book? Is that from Amazon as well?
Yeah, Carol Dweck.
Okay.
It's on Audible as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll check it out. Thank you.
But you know what, you could buy the book. It's actually worth it. But in a nutshell, it's closed-minded or growth-minded. That is the book. But it gives you an example. If you watch tennis back in the 70s and 80s, John McEnroe, that's a perfect example of a closed-minded athlete who flat out will tell you, I never reached my potential because of what I did to myself psychologically. Everybody else was always a problem. You've got to be kidding me, even though you hit the ball out. You know what I mean? Like you're always making excuses. Hey, why'd you get a 75 on your physics exam? Everybody else got a 65. Yeah, but you could have done an 85 if you studied a little bit harder. Yeah, but they got a 65. Like that's closed-minded stuff. And I run into people all the time like that with this. I ran into a person yesterday on the pickleball court, Her knee was complaining the whole time. I just played the game against her and literally crushed her. And she's like, oh, you're just so good. And I said, no, I'm not. I played right into your knee. You can't move. I show her the book. I go to painfree.com. If you don't like it, I'll buy it back. No big deal. You know what she said? My knee's pretty bad off. I think I'm stuck. Okay. Conversation over. Done. That's a closed mindset. And until she changes her mind that her knee on one side, if you take road biking away from a road biker, they go crazy. If you take pickleball away from people that love pickleball, they go absolutely batshit crazy. So this lady's going to give up her sport. And that's not going to be fun for her down the road. Now, I'll be there for her when she'll eventually come back to me a year later, but she's going to lose a year and she's already mid-50s. Could be a very good player. Came from high-level tennis. But it's the mindset. It's changing the idea of I'm broken to, nah, I'm not broken. I'm just bent.
Paula was asking, can this method help a hunched back? I would say yes, 100%.
How hunched?
Paula?
Well, it's actually my husband who's got a hunchback, but yeah, I don't know how hunched. Not too hunched, I guess.
Do you stress him out? Is that why he's all hunched over? Like, do you yell at him a lot?
No, not at all. Oh yeah, it's not as bad as that. Wow.
That's it. That's 8 visits later working with my staff one-on-one. And forget about his arm position. But let's look how flat his back is, and then look at his abs, look at his stomach and abs, how frumpy it is. Like this one almost looks like a face, like some kind of caricature. And then he starts to open up, and now he's living pain-free. Billionaire who said, I'll do anything to get out of pain. Oh, you will? Okay. And then he's out of pain. Now he can actually start enjoying his money. I think business-wise, he was probably the Grinch. And I think once he got himself out of his own way, that the real adult male human being started to show up. The person who wants to give a little bit more, serve a little bit more, be more grateful. Hard to do when your body's twisted and all convoluted and bent over.
Yeah, the gratitude plays a big part as well. And Shell's also asked a question about, have you seen this improve stroke survivors regain back both physical or cognitive function? And the same with people that have things like Parkinson's or anything like that, where they lose a lot.
100%, because I've seen that over 30 years. But I will tell you, the stuff that they're starting to find in the Life Force book from Tony with stem cell treatments and different, that's, the PEMF stuff and the cold water immersion. Like, I don't have any proof of this. I'll find it out. But think about this. You submerge yourself in cold water. Wim Hof is the guy that does all the, the breathing. He hiked Mount Everest in a pair of shorts and a pair of boots. I mean, seriously, that's crazy. And they checked him, and I think they injected him with the Ebola virus, and he talked himself out of being infected by it. Wow. And they're like, we have no idea how this happened. Like on film, doctors taking blood, everything. Mind over matter. His wife committed suicide, jumped off of a building 8 stories up. Not very successful, right? She hit the ground, and if that was her goal, she was successful. But you leave him behind with kids and himself. And the survivor of that says, what did I do? So he was lost. And he said, something drew me to this lake where I saw this ice on the lake. I walked out on it and instantly fell through the water. But his statement was so profound. I had all this chaos. Didn't know what to do, blah, 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 and I'm lost. He was feeling like he was going down the same road. He went under the cold water and everything went quiet. He said, it's like everything calmed down and quiet. I knew I had to get out of the water, but I didn't want to get out of the water. So he decided to stay a couple nanoseconds longer. And that's how he started the whole process of cold water immersion could calm your stress down, could wake up your nervous system. What could it do for someone who's had a stroke? What could it do for someone who has Parkinson's? I don't know. But I can tell you right now, if it's me, my ass is on a bike, I'm sitting in front of this, and I'm getting in the cold plunge if somebody has to pull me out of it. I'm doing my Egoscue exercises all the time, because when your upper back is rounded over like this, like Paula asked, when your upper back is not erect and vertical here, and you're caught up in this, you're not breathing with your diaphragm. And if we're taking over 22,000 breaths a day and you're breathing like this, that's a north-south, noxious, paradoxical breathing pattern. You're trying to pull more, I gotta make room, versus the diaphragm should contract downward and pull air into the lungs based on the negative pressure. Kind of important knowing we just came off of 3 years with a virus that attacked our lungs.
100%.
I have another question. Are these exercises good for people with cerebral palsy?
You have to tell me, I mean, how far are they into the spasmodic position, or are they functional? Where are they?
Well, my left side's affected by my cerebral palsy, so it's the whole of my left side.
Oh, okay. If it's you, hell yes. Come on. I mean, you're able to be on camera with us. You're able to function on a phone. You're able to get up and move around. I will tell you, the answer is yes across the board. I've had people who've been brought in full spasmodic in a chair. Dad had to pick them up, put them on the floor. Yes. We got them to a point where they no longer had to sit in what their body did to the cushion of the chair. We now got them into a position where the body wasn't fighting the cushion.
Right.
When they were chair bound. Are you chair bound?
No, I can walk and everything.
Why would you ask me that question?
Because I just wanted to make sure before I bought the book.
Oh, you had to ask for permission from a dude. Come on. Justine, remember, it's just us girls. Think about it. When I know you want to ask the question, but I don't really think you're asking for like, well, I just wanted to make sure. When you really look at that question, it's, I already knew the answer. I just wanted it confirmed. Okay, but you already knew the answer. Even if I hung up here and said, Justine, don't do the exercises, she's like, okay, Brian, I won't. Click. And then she'll be, right? It's good for everybody.
Okay, cool.
Just like juice.
Okay. Yeah, and listen, I'm not joking about that, guys. I do not sell Juice Plus. I do not sell it. You have no idea how many people because I had to buy it from a person who's in a downline. I'm good friends with her. She's like, come on, come on, come on. I'm like, I really can't give you access to all my people, blah, 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 blah. But I will tell you, it's a game changer. If Juice Plus ever needs to do like a worldwide television commercial, you guys better be calling me. Because me coming in not from a sales position who gets nothing out of it, that's the person who you want selling the product.
Yeah.
I have nothing to gain other than what it did for my kid. It was amazing because I panicked. Like, what the hell do you mean you're not eating vegetables and fruits? What? You're my kid. Are you kidding me? Okay. All right. I'll trick you. Here's some gummy bears. Oh my God, I love them. Here's 4 of them. Oh, great. Here's this. Oh, you skipped them yesterday? Here's 8 vegetables. Now go to bed. And they just think it's green candy.
100%. Brian, you have given so much value today. I just want to thank you so much for your time. We've kept you here for over an hour. So we really 100% appreciate everything that you have done for us today for our program. Just thank you. And I'm going to put all of the info on where you can find Brian, how you can download the book, all through the groups as well, so that you can go back over that, and we'll post the recording up soon.
I will say this, because it's just us girls, if any of your men in your life, husbands, brothers, uncles, grandfathers, fathers, kids, if they're like, well, what could I do because I'm a rugby player, blah, blah, blah. Well, yours truly played 5 years of rugby. That's probably why I have so many head injuries. But I have ways for, there's ways you have to speak to people differently when they come from an athletic version like that. And there's ways you can do that. And it can't be just like, well, because I said it's so healthy. No, you kind of have to be certain about it and look the part, talk the part, live the part, and that's just, I think, something that we're, the Egoscue therapist, and I have people all around the world that have been trained as posture alignment specialists through our institute. So any of you that are interested in going, how do I open up a business like this in Australia? I expect to hear from you. I need a clinic in Sydney and Melbourne and everywhere else like yesterday, because there are so many people out there. But of course, I know Zoom gave us the ability to see people all over the world all at once. So it's not that big of a deal, but I would love to be able to I would love the reason to come to Australia more often and wherever else I'm speaking to right now.
That would be great, because I've actually looked for Egoscue clinics to go to on care plans and stuff over here in Queensland and can't find anything. So will let us know.
Well, you guys, I saw that, Shell. You guys get a hold of me if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff. We get you PAS certified. Then we start moving down the road of what is it going to take to open up a clinic? Where do you want to do it? All that stuff. I have so many clients in Australia right now who are going, we love working with you on Zoom. When are you coming back?
Yeah.
Well, if I had a clinic there, they're not going to ask, when are you coming back? They're going to be like, okay, we're good. We're being serviced there. So let's get it done.
Get it done. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Paula, hold on. Paula asked me, do I have clients in New Zealand? Of course. Paula, I want you guys to know what I do every morning just to psych myself up before I get into the cold plunge. What is it? I do the haka, Paula. Yes. If you guys don't know what the haka is, look it up. It's amazing. We'll leave it at that, because everybody from Australia went, oh God, we can't stand the All Blacks. They always, oh God. And if we have anybody from South Africa, they just became very upset. Okay. Ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you for all of the value that you brought today. And I look forward to seeing you sometime real soon.
Sounds good. I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow if you're on that workshop. Talk to you later.
I'm on. See you, Brian.
Okay.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.